And now here we go with part 4 and 5 of the Ultimate Wolverine run. If you missed the previous videos, they'll be right here on my page right before this video, and now without further ado, let's go. Now in the previous video, Wolverine, aka the Winter Soldier of this verse, was dispatched to attack an opposition stronghold, and well, yeah, when Winter Soldier Wolverine pulls up, you don't fight, you run. Wolverine, however, was able to actually catch up with one of the opposition trucks, and, well, when he got on board, there were a lot of mutants that the opposition wants to rescue and get them basically out of this whole entire part of the world before they end up becoming captured and experimented upon, much like Wolverine himself. Thankfully, protecting the mutants on that truck is Shadowcat. She uses her mutant abilities to quite literally reach into Wolverine's mind, asking him, "Why don't you remember?" Officially now here in issue 4, we see ourselves in Wolverine's mind, and here he manifests himself as a wolf. Now, as Wolverine, as this wolf in his own mind is, running around this forested area, doing what wolves do, trying to survive, we see some dialogue of multiple scientists, including the head research scientist, whose name I'm not going to even try to pronounce. They're all bickering and arguing over the conditioning and how it's basically weakening for Wolverine. The scientists are arguing and explaining that they only have 3 genuine means of controlling their Winter Soldier, Wolverine, and those 3 means are as follows. The chemicals used to basically brainwash him, that's failing. They also have the second means by which to control him, which is mental conditioning. Basically, think of it as brainwashing. And finally, the third one, which they haven't really tried yet, which is telepathic influence. And now they don't really have much of a choice but to use that one, because as Wolverine is, this wolf in his own imagination, in his own mind, he's actually fighting his captors in reality. And I can't really show what he does to his captors. He doesn't break free, but he does eliminate all the security. And again, I can't really show it because there was so much ketchup. And I mean a lot of ketchup. TikTok gets a little upset whenever there's a little too much ketchup on the screen. So when it comes to those 3 methods, whenever it comes to controlling Wolverine, when the first one failed, they try the second one. And when the second one was beginning to fail, they go back to the first one. But now, both of those first 2 means are failing. So now it's time for option 3, telepathic influence. And conveniently, way underneath the Kremlin, they actually have a telepath, in order to use her telepathic abilities to once again maintain control over Wolverine. And yes, you heard me right. Her. And her also has the help of someone else as well you're very familiar with. Jean Grey, aka the Phoenix, and Charles Xavier. He's lost a lot of weight. And you thought everything they've done to Wolverine in this verse was horrifying? Yeesh, this verse in Marvel Comics I want nothing, no part of it. So yeah, they effectively weaponized Jean Grey, aka the Phoenix, and Charles Xavier, specifically just his brain. And yeah, they use them as just a weapon just as much as Wolverine, as proven with the doctor's notes right here. Brutal. But how effective is the telepathic influence and now brand new mental conditioning over Wolverine, aka the Winter Soldier? We get our answer here in issue 5 when we pick up with Sabertooth. Sabertooth is here working at this establishment, but this is just a front. This is just a disguise. In reality, Sabertooth is working for the opposition, the same good guy force which Wolverine was working for before he got captured, turned into the Winter Soldier. And Sabertooth's goal here at this establishment, he's here to just basically provide a place for mutants who are trying to get the hell out of Dodge, a place to lie low, stay hidden before a transport can arrive to get them out of this whole entire part of the world. And in Sabertooth's care right here at this establishment is 2 mutants that you probably have heard of at some point or another. We've got Leech. If he comes into physical contact with you, he can basically nullify your powers and abilities for a short time. And Artie is also with Leech, which, I mean, if you know anything about Marvel Comics, where Leech is, Artie is, so, that makes sense. But Artie here, if he comes into contact with you, he can take anything and everything throughout your whole entire assorted mind and memories and project them, much like a movie. That's pretty cool. And Sabertooth here, he's nothing like we've seen before. He's actually nice. He tells Leech and Artie to get out of the basement. Everybody's gone. Let me make you some food. The transport's going to be here. It's going to be a long road trip. Sabertooth, he's just being a really nice guy. And he makes Leech and Artie some food, and he's like, "I'll be right back. Let me take out the trash." Now, unfortunately, when Sabertooth steps outside, he looks up and he recognizes that this plane overhead, this isn't a commercial flight. This is something that belongs to the military, and alarm signals are going off in Sabertooth's head because of it. He quickly rushes back inside and tells Artie and Leech to get out of sight. Just get back in the basement, lie low. Something's wrong. If someone like Sabertooth is a little spooked, I'm going to be terrified. My eyes would be terrified just like Leech and Artie right here when they're in the basement. But thankfully, at the same time, it's Sabertooth, so whatever is wrong, I've got a sneaking suspicion he can handle it. At first, it looks like someone's at the door. Someone's actually trying to open the door to the establishment, trying the doorknob. Now, Sabertooth cautiously steps outside. When he does, there's nothing. Sabertooth just sees one person out on the sidewalk. Everything's fine. So he turns around, walks back inside, locks the door, but when he does, his nose starts to work. His animal keen senses detect something is wrong. Someone else is inside. Sabertooth follows this unidentified scent. He makes sure Artie and Leech are safe still in the basement, but then he comes face to face. And then we find out that the telepathic influence provided by Jean Grey and Charles Xavier is working just fine, because guess who's here? Yep, you guessed it, Wolverine, aka the Winter Soldier in this verse, and he's not one for words. Sabertooth, he's like, you smell different. You smell dead, but obviously you're alive. Not wasting any time, Wolverine jumps into the fight. When he does, he pops his claws, and Sabertooth is like, oh, not only are you a little different, you also got a little bit of an upgrade. Last time I saw those claws, they were bone. Very brief flashback, we see that, again, Sabertooth and Wolverine were a part of the opposition. And by the way, the opposition is actually encouraging teamwork between mutants and humans who aren't really bad people, and so they have their symbol is two arms making an X, the X-Men symbol, or a nod to it anyway. Back over to that very brief flashback, Wolverine asks Sabertooth, hey, if I ever get kidnapped by the bad guys, I guess this was an attempt at foreshadowing, but yeah, if I get kidnapped, turned into a weapon, promise you'll take me out. And Sabertooth is like, well, yeah, I'm good for my word, I'll try, but you got a healing factor. Not sure how I will, but I promise I will. During the scuffle, during the whole entire fight, which, by the way, I can't even show that because at one point, things get there's ketchup, more ketchup again. We're always watching, go ahead, show the ketchup. No matter what verse we're talking about, this is Wolverine against Sabertooth. Things are gonna get messy, so just use your imagination. During the scuffle, Sabertooth even makes the comment that you're not the Logan I know. Something happened to you, because the Wolverine I know, he wouldn't just attack me, he would try to ambush me, because again, these two have healing factors. Sure, one might go down, but eventually they're just gonna get right back up, and we see that happen during this fight. Even though clearly he's brainwashed under some type of influence, Sabertooth is like, okay, if we're fighting, you're fighting me like a man. Let's see that face. So during the scuffle, Sabertooth, he actually manages to get that mask finally off of Wolverine, and this was a little bit of a surprise. Under the mask is apparently feral Wolverine. Mind-controlled Winter Soldier feral Wolverine. This is a fight I guarantee you even the Avengers would run from. Which, side note, feral Wolverine is something we're probably going to see in the next season of the X-Men 97 TV show, so be ready for this. Thankfully for Sabertooth, and yes, thankfully, I would probably assume feral Wolverine could probably take down Sabertooth. I mean, obviously not permanently, a healing factor and all, but thankfully for everybody, Black Widow arrives. She's the one who is going to transport Leech and Artie out of here. She pulls up and tranks Wolverine. Those tranks working only because Leech managed to grab hold of Wolverine's ankle or foot and managed to basically nullify his healing factor for a little bit. Nice going, guy. And this issue concludes with some good news, because everybody, we got Leech, Artie, Widow, and Sabertooth here, and they're all going to the opposition. And this is good news, because if Shadowcat was able to weaken the mental conditioning and programming in the previous issue, then maybe, just maybe, now that Wolverine's on his way to the opposition base, maybe they can finally set him free. And that concludes issues 4 and 5 of the Ultimate Wolverine comic run. If you're enjoying these story breakdowns, please make sure you follow, like, comment. Definitely make sure you're following for whenever we get the next issue, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please make sure to give me a follow and like, and I'll hopefully see y'all in the next one.